This is my Mark 7.5 Volkswagen Golf GTI, and exactly 2 years ago I purchased this car. I remember the day like it was yesterday. I drove to worked excitedly, and I went to view the car at the dealership with my brother. We had a good look around, took it for a test drive, and like that, I was in love and the deal was made. I had become a Volkswagen Golf GTI owner, and since then I have nearly doubled the miles, and I have made several great videos discussing my experience and progress so far. And in today's video, I'm going to summarize everything that has happened in those 2 years. Quite a lot has happened, so let's get started. Believe it or not, it's been 2 years since I purchased this car. We have done several videos on it. I've gone through my adventures, I've taken it to different places, and this is just going to be a big summary of how I feel about the car, what has happened. Is there anything I would recommend? Anything I would say that you shouldn't do? And just once again showing what is planned next for this car as I nearly approach 100,000 kilometers in it. We're currently sitting at 95. I bought this car at 49, so I've nearly done double the miles already, which is kind of concerning because I didn't think I'd drive as much as I do. But anyway, let's get started. So I last spoke to you back in March. Since then I have fitted the new Michelin Pilot Sport 5s. Bit of a water situation going on there, but 4 tyres all around each side, all Pilot Sport 5s, and my general consensus is that they are an awesome tyre. They are very, very good. I would definitely recommend you put them on any other car. They're very close to the Goodyears. I think I would get the Goodyears if they were considerably more affordable, because in terms of a performance level, I think there's not much in them. And also the Goodyears have a bigger grid wheel guard on the tyre. You get a bit of a big chunkier tyre, and I kind of like big chunky tyres, like when they stick out ahead of the rim as well. It's not only legal, but it prevents you from doing what I did on St. Patrick's Day, which is curb one of your wheels. Anyway, so let's get on to the car itself. When I first picked up the car, I obviously took it to my first ever Dundalk Cars and Coffee, which is a fabulous event. I love going there, it never fails to impress. It's a fabulous day out and I would recommend that. That was the thing. I started going to Cars and Coffees because I wasn't entirely confident in my old car bringing it, because it was just an R-Line diesel. A fabulous R-Line diesel, but I didn't think it was interesting enough or worthy, you might say, of Cars and Coffee, whereas this is. And when you go to your Cars and Coffee, you find quite a lot of people know about GTIs. They might usually avoid or ignore them, but a lot of people are in the know, which is nice, so you get to meet new friends. I instantly discovered this car is very comfortable. This doesn't have the DCC, but it's still very, very comfortable for what it is and what it does. It's still sporty, but it's nowhere near as firm as I was expecting, and I quite like that. It's also surprisingly quiet. I've had a few rattles in the interior, particularly up here. I need to look into that. I keep telling myself all week to do it, but I never got around to it. But yeah, so it is also a fantastic all-round car. That is the thing. I've said it about in the other GTI videos, I'll say it in this GTI video. It just does everything so well. It's not too bad to insure. Now my insurance actually went up last year, but I think so did everyone else's. Probably you watching as well. But otherwise, it's easy to get insurance on, way cheaper than some of its rivals, especially the 4-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive competitors. It's also not the worst to tax. If you got a Mark 7, you're only paying €280, which is what an average 2-litre diesel would have paid 10 years ago. The emissions was really impressive on the GTIs. And this engine, yeah, I think it doesn't sound that great. But other than that, I think it's a fabulous little engine. The EA 888, it's been used in multiple different cars, which means it's very easy to get parts for and even easier to service. This car is actually due a service. I've had the mechanic booked in, I just haven't. He hasn't got around to letting me know that he's free, which is a bit concerning, but otherwise. And I did have, as I mentioned in a previous video, not one but two coolant leaks. The first, there was a very small valve near the water pump that had failed, so that was replaced very easily and the leaking problems went away until the thermostat housing decided that he had had enough and that he was like, right lads, I'm out, and he started to leak. Will I take this to a track? Maybe one day. I am kind of planning on that. I'm trying to speak with friends of mine who've done it themselves. Such a lovely gearbox this car has, and just to see what they think about it, what they recommend. In terms of what's next for this car, other than the service, not a lot. I still have EBC brakes, so I'm going to ask my mechanic if the brakes are fine. I think they're fine. They've still got a bit of meat left in the bone, but I might ask him, look, if they're not going to last the next service, I'll give you the EBC red stuff that I purchased. I also bought steel braided brake lines as well as the new discs as well, just to improve the general stop performance of these already pretty impressive brakes. Bear in mind, this is not a performance pack model, so it doesn't have the big performance pack brakes, but if you want to fit them, it's a plug and play. Maybe if I was doing more track stuff and if I was committed to keeping this car for a long time, I would probably invest in that. But anyway, what's next with this car? In terms of mods, I don't have much planned for it other than the brakes, because truth be told, I'm trying to save up money because I want to buy a house. I also see a spider beside me. I'm just gonna get rid of him. And anyway, so yeah, exhaust maybe an option down the line if I can free up some cash just to maybe treat this car for a bit, because I've had this car for 2 years and other than the coolant leaks, it has been problem free. Now, will this remain the same? Like, I did buy this car 2 years ago and I've already doubled the miles on it, so I'm thinking this car is now worth probably a bag of crisps right now, so I think I've committed to the long run. Now that's somewhat out of the way, should you consider buying a Golf GTI? But it was around here when I realised that the Golf GTI wasn't really a car that you would purchase for attention. If you're not a flamboyant person like myself, then the GTI is perfect. It blends in with the normal crowd. If you want attention, get the checkbook out and add some mods, or sell up and buy a noisy, shouty, shite IS200. Clarkson and Chris Harris, for example, are two proud past and present Mark 7 GTI owners. Between them are opinions of people who I value very highly. There's a good chance you do too. You see, the Golf GTI isn't for attention. It's a masterful paradox, subtle yet thrilling, practical yet playful. It doesn't scream for attention, instead it quietly combines performance, comfort, efficiency, and everyday usability into a single cohesive form. And it will be the best kept secret, only shared with yourself and other like-minded people that are in the know. You see, you don't buy a Golf GTI to be original. You don't buy a GTI to shout. You don't buy it to be loud or hated or to prove something. You buy it because you need a car that does it all. The school runs, the motorway slogs, date night, the weekend blasts. It's not here for attention. It's here for you. For the quiet moments, the tight corners, the long drives home, the Golf GTI is there for you. Unoriginal, absolutely. But within that familiarity is something close to perfection. The GTI doesn't answer the question. It is the answer. It's the answer to every question you can ask it related to driving perfection. The Golf GTI is the answer to driving perfection.